Hello, everyone. Excited to host this first webinar of RF Studios, which would be, the very first step in hosting a lot of these going forward. Thank you so much, whoever has joined today. I'm very excited to host you all. So a little bit about myself. I'm Max Raza. I've been working in marketing space for almost a decade now. A lot of my experience in B2B, but recently I have worked with DTC brands, working on their e-commerce and optimizing conversion rate for them. So, today's webinar is more like the learnings that we have done during past few years. So I would like to share those learnings with you guys and key takeaways that we have for you guys to, maximize your conversion rate. So let's begin. We have a lengthy presentation, so I won't be taking any break. It would be a quick webinar to touch upon all the topics that we have decided to cover. So thank you so much for being here, first of all. And if you guys can quickly introduce yourself in the comments, that would be great. Before I, kind of add in the slides and start presenting to you guys. Okay, so this is our slide deck. Cool, right? Okay, let's begin. 7 ways to optimize conversion rate. But let me begin with talking about the Shopify, because today's webinar would cover a lot of things about what is happening with Shopify. You are noticing a lot of change in their share prices. There has been a lot of job cuts as well, but Shopify is coming really strong. I'm pretty sure they would be able to go through this financial turmoil and become a much bigger and stronger company. The reason why I'm doing and saying this is Shopify Edition Summer 2020 has brought a lot of hope and a lot of positive features to the platform. And some of my favorites are Twitter shopping that they have recently introduced. So you can integrate the shopping platform with Twitter in your tweets. And another very cool and interesting feature that we have covered before in our post as well was Shopify with YouTube. Shopify Audience is again a very big leap, and there is Dovetail integration as well to source influencers. And wow, this one is big, B2B on Shopify and Shopify Flow. But wait a minute, this webinar is on conversion rate. So let's begin with the very basics. What is conversion rate, you may ask? Conversion rate is, as you see the formula on the screen, is number of conversions divided by total visitors to your website, you multiplied by 100. So, you would get a percentage at the end of it, and that is what is called your conversion rate. There is a very cool company which I follow, is called Unbounce, and they publish conversion rate benchmarks by industry. So you can see they have covered a lot of industries, and their latest reports are also available on their website. So you can see the real estate is among the industry that has the least conversion rates, and the catering and restaurants has been among the most conversion rate. But this graph is mainly showing median. The average on each business varies, and conversion rate, in my view, has been the deciding success factor between a business that is basically having good conversion rate versus bad conversion rate. So if you see this graph, whoever has done better on conversion rate has been a better business in terms of financial point of view, as well as from a consumer point of view as well. So let's take a deep dive into what we will be presenting today. And I will try to quickly run through these topics, extensive topics, a lot of knowledge in here. again, a lot of our learnings, and I hope you would enjoy. So, we would try to cover, the investigation part, what's broken, how to discover that, how can we improve user experience for listing pages. Very important to make sure that they are spot on, and we can make a good impression out of those. And page speed optimization. Wow, this is the a big part in the conversion rate optimization. And the last step, the checkout, very small glitches on this page means you're losing business. And definitely search visibility brings a lot of customers to you. PPC optimization is, has a strike through. I would love to cover this topic, but I believe that the time would be limited. We have another webinar planned on this topic going forward, but PPC optimization is the seventh way to make sure that your website is performing excellently. So let's dive in. Let's let's start. So, how can we investigate what's broken? And there are a couple of ways we can do that. Return on ad spend is one of the variables that we can look at and try to figure out what is going wrong. Customer lifetime value is another variable, another a KPI that is very important, and we can look at this KPI as well to figure out what is happening. Abandonment rate is also another very important KPI. Average order value is another one. Um, so these KPIs, two of these are available to your Shopify dashboard, and other two you have to do some data crunching, do some dashboarding and analysis together. So, ROAS is something you would land by consolidating all your ad spend. Lifetime value is again you would measure on each customer level. Cart abandonment is available within Shopify dashboard and AOV as well. So in this tab, I would highly recommend that you should be regularly testing your website. There should be a monthly schedule in front of you where you would be, looking at your website from a consumer point of view, trying to test out all those journeys, and regularly testing out every feature and core function of your website. And definitely, you can build out a list of inspirations, do some social listening on them, and that would also give you a lot of conversion rate ideas, how other businesses are, doing those hacks and quick views. So, this dashboard I was talking about, you have seen this, quite often in Shopify. So as you can see, the conversion rate is, and this report is on a quarterly level. The average order value and the conversion rate are the two variables right away available to you, and it also tells you what is the cart abandonment rate. But what you cannot figure out is again the lifetime value and the return on ad spend. We will talk about it more. So this is a custom dashboard that we built to kind of try to understand what is happening on key metrics, like what is our cost per click, cost per add to cart, cost per checkout initiative, cost per purchase. These are all the other variables you should be looking at. We are just in the investigation phase, trying to figure out what is happening and what is happening wrong. And if we can have a clear visibility of this data, or even on a monthly level, if we can run this report on a monthly level, this would really help you to what is happening with your store, to investigate really how you can make a sense of what is happening with your store and what's broken basically. So once you have this, you can start to optimize. So let's move forward to the next chapter, which is actually a lot of actions. First of all, user experience. User experience would directly relate to your conversion rate. And we would talk about a lot of checklists over here, but I won't run into details over this user experience checklist. You can refer back to our slide deck later on. But I would try to quickly run you through what we mean by all these bullet items that we have listed here. So what is top nav bar header? How can we optimize the user experience over there? How can we optimize the header slider experience? How we should optimize the CTA section? How can we improve the filtering experience for users? And definitely the last part is the most important one, that is the testimonial section. Do you have reviews on your website? Do you have um, social placements over there that people can see, okay, how customers and users are using and what questions they're asking? So, this is, the top level tip is to make sure that the experience is top notch. So we would talk about a couple of checklists that we have prepared on top of it that would help you to understand how can you maximize the user experience. So if you talk about the top navigation header, you should make sure that the logo is out there and it is of appropriate size. The cart button should be there. The shipping details, if you have any free shipping rules over there, that should be available. And if you have live chat enabled, that should also be an icon visible over there. And the cart drawer, people should also be able to explore and open from the top navigation header. This is a very good example from Sephora. And what you can see over here is they have free shipping, membership, and search, and all these buttons that I have mentioned are all out there. And you can quickly access all the information about the website right from this header, which would be the most useful part of your website. So you need to make sure that you are, optimizing your header. And the next thing is basically the header slider. Again, a lot of in our view, 50 to 60% traffic would land on your homepage, and you must optimize the conversion from that journey basically. So you need to make sure that there is a header slider with clear messaging and offer. The text should be readable. It should not be too fancy images or just too fancy text. And if there is internationalization, we need to include option to switch that in the header slider as well. And call to actions, again, a lot of checklist on this one. Is CTA, the call to action button of appropriate size? It is visibly has visible cues and people can easily locate it. And is this using some generic text that is already there in the theme, or you're trying to optimize it by I want this part or get this part now? So you need to optimize the call to action text as well to make sure that it is visible out there. So call to action buttons, there are a couple of recommendations like, you know, we can add arrows, we can add trust badges, or we can add some user-centric text after the CTAs as well. These are a couple of more inspirations to show you that the visual clues, the right text on top of them led to better conversions overall. Testimonials, again, a big checklist on this one as well. Is there a testimonial present below the CTA? Does the testimonial have a copy line above it? Do you have HD images of users who are presenting the product or themselves using the product? And there should be a star rating available in front of the user as well. These are all very basics in terms of the user experience of an e-commerce website, and often neglected. If a user won't be able to find testimonials about your product, they would definitely feel lost, and they would definitely feel like they're coming to something that is new, and they may not make a purchase based on having less data available in front of them. So these are a couple of inspirations I would like to show you. You have the product image on top, and then you can add some copy below it, and then the star rating is very clearly visible. The next section, another very important chapter, is about product listing pages and optimizing and making sure that those pages are of top quality, both in terms of content and features, to make sure that all the topics that I have mentioned here are covered. The product image section is very important. This is something that would be mostly used by users. They would be trying to look at the imagery, how the product would look on in human use, and if there are any frequently asked questions, if they could be represented in image section, it would be amazing on your conversion rate, because people would be able to feel and get an idea about the product very quickly through the image section. And the rating section is basically where you establish your credibility, you make sure that people know about it, and then the pricing section is make sure that people have an assurance from your side that this is the best price they can get for this product. And then lastly, the social proof and FAQ section would further clarify any queries if there are any of the users. So again, there are a lot of checklists in terms of product image section. Do you have pinch zoom available? Is there a slider that is automatically revolving? Is there an infographic section that is available in front of users? And are there end user images that are present in the image slider? If you were just placing product images, it would be very hard for you to make people understand what this product can do and how it would behave in real world scenarios. So, you need to make sure that end user images are available in the slider. Next, again, more checklist on the product image section. There needs to be, all these features should be there as part of recommendations. And again, I have been adding a lot of references to Sephora. They have end user images, even before and after images as well, and a lot of social proof on the same page, that is making sure people have an understanding what this would look like in terms of end user and how other people are using the product. And the rating section again plays a huge role. If people would see there are a lot of people that have reviewed the product, they would be having less issue in checking that out. So if you would see 36,000 people have added this to their bucket list, and 41 reviews are available which are published on this page, you would definitely check them out and make a call based on those numbers. And 5-star ratings would definitely help you further. So adding rating score, adding copy to text ratings, and adding image reviews would all help us in optimizing our conversion rate. And the next section is featured in sections. So if your brand or your product is featured in anything that further develops their trust or further develops their interest, like, okay, this has been seen on TechCrunch, or this has been seen on Product Hunt, or this has been a part of a fundraising program. If you can add those logos and co-branding symbols in there as well, it would definitely help you. And another play in this is influencers. If there are influencers that you have previously worked with or used to gain some traction on the product, if you can include their imagery or their endorsements, or what they said about their product, about your product within the product listing page, it would really help you to optimize the conversion rate on top of the product listing page. So again, the pricing section, there needs to be an assurance from your side that this is your best price. You're giving out the shipping details. You're giving out all the clarification that a person may have regarding price. And definitely you can do another trick that I have listed in point 2, that is to add a dummy price and struck it through, so that people have an understanding that this is a discounted item, and you can you would notice that people will be more inclined to check that out versus having only one price listed, that is your actual price. So you need to have a compare price and a sale price both listed in your Shopify store to make sure that there is a best price assurance in front of the user that is visiting your website. And pricing section can give further bonus points to the users. So we can provide discounting. We can add shipping details. We can add bundles, so people can have upsells and resell information available. So you can have a lookbook if you're an apparel store. If it is a perfume store, you can make some more recommendations to promote any profitable variants that may go well with that product line. And this is a very good example of a visual variants as well as a visual checkout flow that is available in this website. So you can have a clear visibility about what the packaging size would be, and you can check it out, and which variants are available. You're also able to quickly grasp it through. You can add a frequently asked question section. This accordion also really helps to clear out any questions or pre-sale questions that a user may have before making a purchase. And in many cases, people have some new questions as well. They may be able to scroll through these 7, 8 questions, and they may be coming up with new questions. So you can add an ask a question section, and once people would ask, it would get published on the product listing page to feature on that, and people can make quick decision based on that information. This section, the website performance section, uh, there are a lot of things that Shopify is doing on our behalf, and they're already optimizing a lot of things for us. But still, Web Vitals play a very vital role in terms of both your user experience as well as your search rankings. So we would take a deep look at what these LCP, FCP, CLS means, and how you can optimize a Shopify store in terms of performance. So just to give you an idea how important it is for you to make sure that your website is of top performance, is with each second that is increasing, your conversion rate would decrease. People would be spending more time waiting, and they would eventually churn out at one stage or another. So if you just compare, if you have 2.4-second load time, your conversion rate may be standing at 1.9. And if you would be loading your website in 5.7 seconds, your conversion rate may be below 0.6%. So, this is almost, 2 times drop in your conversion rate that would, greatly impact your sales numbers. So, it's really important to understand these numbers and make sure that you're optimizing them very, um, you know, delicately. And this correlates to customer experience, but this is a separate topic that we believe is a separate step, a separate way for you to make sure that people have good, core Web Vital in front of them. So, what is LCP, largest contentful paint, as Google points it out? So, largest contentful paint is basically what is your actual load time for the whole page. So, this is how you can see it. And FID is first input delay, how much time a user has to, kind of wait before the page became interactive. And the last is CLS. So, were things moving around, or buttons were, in one place at one time, and during loading, were they, changing their location. So visual stability is also another core Web Vital that Google is enforcing. And these are all good things. If you would implement, you would get a better conversion rate. And there are many other Web Vitals that Google hasn't been enforcing much, but they are pretty much understood that they are a part of your strategy and a part of your website. And all these things are usually a part of the Shopify ecosystem. So if you are a part of this ecosystem, you would be getting a mobile-friendly version along with your theme. You would have safe browsing. You would have all the HTTPS headers configured, SSL configured on your behalf. So, a lot of things would be available for you. But if you're on any other platform, you might need to take care of them as well. And my favorite testing tools when it comes to performance testing, I would simply load the Chrome DevTools and see what our load times are in actual browser. But we can also look at web page test reports, which are available for free You can have a very deep understanding and actual JSON data for you to analyze as well. Page speed metrics are, again, this is something when you would click on Google Search Console, Web Core Vitals report, page speed insights would load, and they would run a check on your website. Lighthouse is also available as a separate Chrome extension that you can also use. And GT Metrics is among the last, because I believe uh, all above tools are much better, give a much better understanding about your website testing and performance. And GT Metrics is also a very good tool for testing your Shopify website performance on desktop, especially. So if you have to test on mobile, you might have to change configurations in GT Metrics test. So just a quick, snapshot of Web Vitals for a website that is, run on webpagetest.org. So you can see this current website that we tested was having an LCP, a largest contentful paint, of 11 seconds. The TBT, the time to first byte, was 5 seconds, and CLS was zero point 0.2, which is also very high. There are a lot of elements which are moving around. So all these variables matter, and you would get a very clear report on webpagetest.org to understand these variables and dig deeper into them. So couple of top level tips that I would like to give to all the listeners out there um, is how can we optimize Shopify, which is already giving a lot of optimized platform for us. So we can limit the third party JavaScript and Shopify apps. Whenever you would add another Shopify app that is interacting with the front end of your website, it would definitely add some JavaScript files that are being loaded from their server, not from Shopify server. So that would basically reduce the experience. It would add a lot of queries to third party websites, and that would definitely hurt your performance. So my number one recommendation would be to reduce and limit third-party JavaScript usage and Shopify apps. The second thing that we can do is to merge and migrate all the tracking codes. So you may have Hotjar and Google Analytics and Google AdWords and Facebook Pixel and Snapchat Pixel. All those pixels may be there. So, but when you would have those pixels, they would add all those third-party JavaScript. And if you can migrate all your tracking codes to Google Tag Manager, it would help you to just call one tag manager, and that tag manager would make the calls to those APIs. So I would highly recommend to implement GTM on your Shopify store. Another thing that you can do is to choose a lightweight Shopify theme. It would have a lot of performance optimization already done. So make sure that you are choosing a lightweight Shopify theme for your website. And the last step is, again, it's a silver lining. You would have both kind of requirements. You would need to upload high quality images, but you also want to make sure that your website page loads in optimal performance. So my only recommendation here would be to make sure that whatever your image canvas size is, only upload that image canvas size. Don't upload beyond that. And the second recommendation that I would like to give in terms of reducing the large image size is to upload it in next gen formats like WebP that is available to you. So you need to upload them upfront to Shopify. Shopify will try to do the compression and optimization on your part. But if you would be already uploading a heavy PNG, it might not get those optimizations on your behalf, and it would be available in those heavy sizes. And when those heavy images would be called, your optimization and load time would hurt. Another very important chapter, the checkout optimization. How can you optimize your, the last step of the journey, that is, when people are trying to make a purchase? So you need to have a add to cart drawer opening up. There needs to be a checkout journey evaluation that you need to do, and you need to make an effort to win the trust of the customers. If there is authority and security that is available to your checkout process, people would make more conversions on that page. So you need to make sure that the add to cart drawer opens up automatically whenever someone presses the add to cart button, because that would start the journey. At least if you won't have that happening, it would definitely not start the journey, and if people won't start the journey, they won't complete it. You need to limit the number of fields. There are a lot of fields that are out there in Shopify. Some are drop down fields, some are and with this summer 22, a lot of checkout optimizations are possible. You can do a lot of customization on the checkout page as well. And then these are a couple of other recommendations from a visual standpoint, that you need to make sure that the color of checkout button should be standing out, and it should be very clearly visible to users. And this is a way you can demonstrate the authority. You are saying you are working with Google Pay, PayPal, and a couple of other payment providers, which are very secure in front of users. You are on Shopify. If people would recognize this checkout screen, they would already know that they are in a secure checkout procedure. So these logos would definitely help you to further win the trust and make the conversion easier. Another very interesting inspiration regarding this is this website. It has a lot of stickers available along with the button, so you can add to bag, and then you can start the journey within the website. And this is a very interesting website from both from a visual standpoint or also from a winning trust standpoint. They have done a lot of work on this part, and this is a complete checklist that you would be able to see in the complete slides that would be available at the end of the webinar. So you need to make sure the account sign up is optional. People can make guest checkouts. They can choose if they want to opt in the marketing or not, and they can check out the shipping rates that would be applied to them, and those shipping rates also make sense to them. And then we comes to the towards the end of the webinar. This is another very important topic, the search visibility. How can we maximize it? We would stretch further on it in another webinar to cover the topic of how can we do search engine optimization for e-commerce websites. But these are very top level tips that I would like to give in terms of making sure that our SEO is at least up to the par. So structured data recommendations, I would highly likely give you this recommendation that you need to include all these headers in your information, and you can test it out on rich schema testing tools by Google. And you can make sure that all these variables are going from your theme or from your Shopify store to Google, and it would give you a lot of better visibility, some rich snippets in some cases, and you would overall get better search visibility in your SERP rankings. It would be a more rich SERP rankings. I'm not demonstrating tools, but this screenshot is from Screaming Frog that we use to conduct audits. And these are all external tools, external links that are available on your website. And then there is structured data, tags available as well. So you can run this audit, and you can get all these details from Screaming Frog, how your structured data is visible or not. And schema.org would give you a clear visibility about those rich schema available within your search snippets or not. So that's pretty much it on this webinar. I'm really excited to host you all and have this opportunity to share this information with the RF Studio community. I'm really thankful to everyone who helped me to host this webinar, namely Fahad, Saman, and Roj, who helped me to kind of prepare the materials and prepare the slides and organize all this setup. So I'm really excited. This is first of the webinar. Again, my first experience as well as a solo host of a webinar. I hope you guys enjoyed. Do you have any questions you can ask in the comments, and we will try to get back to you guys. And you will be getting the recording of this webinar as well on our YouTube channel. So subscribe and like and share across. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye-bye.
The most powerful ideas begin with one desire for change. But for an idea to come to life, it must be shared, developed, implemented. We are all drawn to compelling ideas. We feel a spark. We connect. We want to be part of something bigger. The vision excites us. It brings us together. And when we collaborate, momentum builds. We meet, create, educate, innovate. It's you.